Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to our final ship showdown video. I think we kind of all know how this is gonna go, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. It's 4:25 in the afternoon here in where I live at, the eastern side of the United States. So yeah, let's see. Obviously the C1 Spirit and the F8C Lightning. I misunderstood how much people thoroughly enjoyed the C1. And I don't mean to like down the C1. I'm in a very specific scenario where I do not need a C1 because I have 28 ships and I just happen to have ships that like are either just above it or just below it. Or I have an interest in a different ship, but the C1 Spirit is a great ship. So like regardless of who wins this, I think it's a win. But I think the FAC Lightning winning is just, I think that's such a unique thing because I think it would be the first time that a limited ship, like a hull, well, it's not hull limited. What is it? It's event limited, right? Yeah, I think it's event limited, but technically it's not because you get it if you get the golden ticket, right? Technically that event is over, but you can still get it. So it's token limited, I guess. Yeah, token limited sounds right. But you can also get it if you spend $10,000 on the game. And then I think you get a second one if you spend 15,000 on the game. So, yes, it's token limited and it is like cash limited because you just got to put a bunch of money in the game to get one. If you don't have the token, of course. So interestingly enough, I didn't think that this would happen. I thought the Terrapin was gonna go all the way. And you can see my votes here, the little blue circles, the way I voted. I pretty much did not vote for the winner half the time. I was like 50-50. In the beginning, it was real bad. I think I only got two right. I got 1, 2. Yeah. I got 2 of them right out of 8. Out of 8. That's actually hilarious. It's like, I don't think if I tried to do that poorly, I don't think I could have done it. I don't think I could have if I tried to like lose and not get them correct, I don't think I could have done it that well. In round 2, I think I voted for all of the winners. So I kind of made up for round 1 by getting all of these correct. But then it went right back to 50-50 here because I thought the Terrapin would pull it out. But I didn't see how much the FAC Lightning won by. The FAC Lightning won by let's see, 4,000. And the C1 Spirit won by, it looks like 5,000 or a little less than 5,000. So yeah, I think the FAC Lightning is going to win the whole thing. I think the Terrapin would have had a chance at pushing it off, but I think there's just more fans of the F8 than there are of the C1. Utility wise, I'd say the C1 is better utility wise, but obviously the F8C is going to be better as far as combat. When you think about, I think the F8C Lightning is certain people, it's their dream ship. Like they don't own one, they may not own one, or maybe they do, but I think some people are like, that is my combat ship. That's the ship that once I own it, I'm done with combat ships. Like I'm like, that's it. Whereas the C1, I don't know if that's anybody's in-game ship. It might be, but it's a question, is what I'm saying. Like it's not set in stone whether somebody's gonna get the C1 and then that's gonna be the last, cargo ship that they choose or whatever, right? And I think that's the difference between the two. I just don't think they're on this. They're playing on the same type of field, if that makes any sense. I think the F8C Lightning, a lot of people are looking at like, that's my in-game ship. And I don't think people are doing that with the C1. So interestingly enough, I would think that the C1 should win because more people own it. But I also don't think as many people are voting in this as own these ships, because think about it. There's, let's say, I know they say that we have 5.2 million people in the game, but a lot of those are like double accounts, triple accounts. For some people have 7 or 8 different alternate accounts. So let's say realistically we have like, let's say 2 million people who play the game, and I'm still probably overestimating. If we have 2 million people that play the game, let's say 500,000 of those people are no longer even participating in Star Citizen stuff. They just bought a pack, didn't like it, and they're gone, right? And then let's say another 500,000 of those people are not actively participating, as in they're just waiting for development. So you probably, now you have a million, let's say a million people who are actively playing the game. Well, take 2 or 300 of those, 2 or 300,000 of those, let's say 300,000 of those people are, yes, they're actively playing the game, but they don't care about things outside of like playing the game. So that leaves you like 700,000 people who are like, you know, playing the game and actively give a crap about what's happening outside of the game, right? And I'm just giving like some general like estimates, right? Even if we cut that in half, let's say I'm way off, and we cut that in half, and let's say it's 350,000 people, right, that are actively playing the game and care about what happens outside of the game. 50,000 of those people probably wouldn't even vote. Like, they wouldn't even care to vote. So that leaves us with 300,000. Look at these numbers. This isn't anywhere close to 300,000 people voting. This is what? I'm really bad with math, so I don't want to try to do a bunch of math, but I think this is about 30,000, right? These are somewhere between 25 and 40,000 people that are actually voting in these things, right? And so it's not necessarily who should win based on who owns it or all these other things that we've been trying to do this whole time. Honestly, it's who actually votes. Who cares about the winner? Who cares enough to actually go in and vote every single day? That's what I think it's about. I'm going to go with the FAC Lightning. And it looks like the FAC Lightning is going to take it. The FAC Lightning, I think, to me, is a ship that I will end up with. So a skin for that I already have, you know, so I'm not worried about it. But whatever, I don't know what the winner is going to get, but whatever it is, I'm going to have an FAC Lightning in my fleet. So I think for champion, since I can't get my Terrapin to win, it just made sense to go with a ship I own versus a ship I don't. That's really what it came down to. I mean, I think the FHC was going to win anyway. It's not, I don't think my one vote affected everything. Every vote matters, but yeah, it's already leading by 2,100. I don't think the C1's going to take it. Now, I don't have a golden ticket. But if somebody wants to give me a golden ticket, I'll consider. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do that. Never mind. I was gonna try to do something funky, but I can't. I just realized I can't do that. So anyway, yeah, I think the FAC Lightning is gonna win this and take it, and it'll be, I think, the first time that a full-on combat ship won, if I'm not mistaken. I think we can look at past winners. All right, so you can see here who the winners were. The first ever one was 2019. Caterpillar won. The only, yeah, Hammerhead and Cutlass are the only like fighting ships in there. Yeah, Corsair, Carrack, MPUV 1C, Carrack, Caterpillar. No combat ship has ever won. Even in second place, well, the Valkyrie's dropship. But they haven't actually done that well in the past. Redeemer, Cutlass, you could say is a combat ship. I'd say it's also cargo, but it's dual role. Yeah, combat ships generally don't do that well. So I think maybe it was time for a combat ship to finally win one. And now that it's out of the system, we'll see what 2955 looks like. But yeah, looks like the F8C took it. And I had a lot of people that were saying, I mean, I heard a lot of people that were saying that the F8C would take it. And I think I helped it along the way. I voted for it 3 times. But I also tried to keep it from getting into the second round in the first place. So, I don't feel bad, for once it made it. I was like, if I felt like once it made it here, it was automatically going here. So that was a foregone conclusion. This was the hardest matchup it was going to have unless it went up against the Terrapin here. And because it didn't go up against the Terrapin, I knew it was going to lose to whatever it was. And I think I tried to say that in a previous video. I mean, not that I'm like super good with these predictions. um, I think the only thing I underestimated the C1. I did vote for the C1 both of those rounds though, but I underestimated how much people love the C1 in relation to the Terrapin. But I definitely, like, I would have put money on it that the F8C Lightning would beat the C1. Now the Terrapin, I think, might have had a better chance. But to be completely honest with you, I think a few people were upset that the Terrapin beat either the Gladiator or the 600i. So some people voted against the Terrapin, not so much for the C1. And I think it's the same thing. The same thing here. I think in the whole contest, I think people were doing that, but it's not necessarily that the better ship wins. Not all the time, right? I think the C1 is great, but I don't think it's better than the Mercury, yet I voted for the C1. It was mostly because I wanted to get it a skin, but I wanted the STV to actually make it to the semifinals more than I wanted the C1 to make it to the semifinals. But the STV has skins, so it is what it is. But I think the F8C Lightning winning is perfectly fine. I think I had it. My first place I wanted to win was the Terrapin. Second place I wanted to win was the Gladiator. Third place, the 890 Jump, I think, was my third place. My fourth place was the Defender. And then my fifth place, I think, was the F8C Lightning. So it wasn't, the FAC Lightning was not even high on my list, but when you got to vote, you got to vote. Every vote counts. So yeah, that does it, I think, for a Ship Showdown. I guess the winner will be crowned tomorrow, but we kind of know who the winner is. If you're looking at this, and I'm looking at it with 19 hours to go. If you're looking at this, there's probably not 19 hours to go. There's probably 18 hours or less. So with that said, this number will be much different. And I haven't seen any comeback wins. The way it started was normally the way it ended. So unless you're watching this and you're like, let's go, you're going to get the whole org to come over and fight for the C1. It looks like the FAC Lightning is this year's Ship Showdown king. And I'm not upset about it. I'm not upset. I mean, my Terrapin got a skin. I got a Reclaimer skin. And I got an FAC Lightning skin and the FAC one. I mean, I'm doing okay. Like all of my efforts have been to get everybody else a skin. But once all the skins were decided, at that point, I just vote for what I want. And I think that's what I did, But yeah, it was a good fight. I enjoyed this one. I still think they need to work on the round one matchups. I think they need to work with some of the community to pick these matchups. Like, yeah, you get the first 16 ships, you announce those, you say these are the 16 ships, and then you say, not necessarily do we just pick the exact matchup. Like, do you want the C1 Spirit to go against this ship, this ship, this ship, this ship, or this ship? Like, you could do it that way. Rank choice, where you say, here's the C1, and here's all the ships it can go against. Which ship do you think the C1 should go against, right? So if people, let's say people were to pick the Gladiator, right? And that was the highest voted one. That takes 2 ships out because now you know it's C1 versus Gladiator. So then you could say, all right, here's the Mercury. Which ship do you want to go against the Mercury? And then let's say everybody picks the STV, right? Then that takes those 2 ships out. And then you keep doing that until all of the ships have partners. And then it feels like the community got to choose which ships go against each other. And maybe it's fair, or maybe it memes out, but the idea is that the best ship, or the ship that, not necessarily the best ship, but the ship that the community wants to win will still win anyway, right? Certain times, you know, like I said, the STV versus the Mercury, right? People might be like, I don't want the Mercury to win, so they hyper vote for the STV, so it makes it to the second round. But everybody knows the second round counts, right? So there's less meme voting in the second round because people are like, no, whoever wins this gets a skin. So yeah, so then maybe it's the STV versus the 890, and people are like, nah, I'd rather an 890 get the skin. Or maybe there's people who are like, no, we need vehicle skins. So yeah, you know, I'm a huge fan of the Ursa Medevac. So even if that would have made it to the semifinals, I would have been okay. I have a 600i. If that would have made it to the semifinals, I would have been okay. I don't have a Fury LX, but I am a fan of the Fury in general. So I can't wait till I can do some reviews on that. But anyway, go check out, I just did a Gattac Raylin review and a Gattac Sulin review, so go check those out if you haven't. I did a kind of everything you need to know on the new Aegis Saber Peregrine, which is the ship I'm giving away this month. So make sure you like, dislike, leave a comment, and subscribe, and then you'll be entered to win. Or, of course, you can join and be a member, and then you don't have to do any of those things, and you're automatically entered, and you share that 25% chance of winning. But yeah, shout out to the members. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. And this has been a fun ship showdown. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.